Okay, boys and girls, this one is set up in my kitchen because I was going to record this a lot earlier, but I've had the busiest day known to man, so it's gone dark, as you can see, outside, and I'm now recording this in my kitchen because it has the best light possible. But this video is going to go through what I think about spending time with other people, or basically controlling who you actually give your time to. Now, this, in a normal sense, if you're just a regular person, this isn't really too important. Obviously, you don't want to be spending time around people that you don't really like or don't really care about. But when it comes to being a business owner, an agency owner, someone who is looking to do big things, great things, more than the average person, this is really, really underrated, and it's something that a lot of people don't really realize. It sort of contributes to that mind diet that you have, what you allow into your brain, what you allow yourself to consume. Because obviously, if you're around certain people, then their thoughts and their words are going to be consumed into your brain, because you're going to hear that all the time, and you're going to hear opinions of the people who are surrounded by you. But before I get into that, if you're not familiar with me, my name is Ben Lister, and I help agency owners by documenting all of my learnings on this YouTube channel that help me to make multi-six figures per year. So the main thing that I want to talk about is, people talk about this all the time, right? Like, if you surround yourself with millionaires, you'll be a millionaire, right? If you surround yourself with idiots, you'll be an idiot, whatever it is, right? And the reason this is bad is because most people are pretty fatalistic. Most people don't actually believe that they can change their life and that they can do things that other people can't, right? They believe that they are sort of given a bit of a path. They have very low agency in their life, and they don't really take responsibility for the things that happen to them. They think that stuff just happens to them. They don't happen to things. They don't happen to life. Life just happens to them. And this is a majority viewpoint in the world today, especially people who are younger, under 25. And so if you have friends, colleagues, whatever it may be, there's more than likely going to be the chance that if you haven't carefully selected those, that the vast majority of the people that you surround yourself with will be of that same mindset. And this is bad. Now, in a normal sense, it doesn't really matter too much. You know, you shouldn't really care all that much. If you're just a normal person and you don't have big dreams and you don't want to do big things, it doesn't really matter. But if you are a business owner, if you are someone that is trying to do something a little bit bigger than yourself, then this is terrible, because you need to have that responsibility in yourself. You need to believe that you are the person steering the ship, and whatever happens, it's ultimately your responsibility. Because if you don't believe that, then you're going to stop working towards the thing that you want, and you're just going to believe that there's some kind of outside force, some kind of external force that is controlling things or is having some kind of influence on you and your success. And we all know that's not true. We all know that the position you're in today, the reason I'm stood here today in this kitchen recording this YouTube video, is because of all the choices that I've made in my life have led me to this very moment, right? And so I'm sure that if I made the choice to, for example, not start a business, to go down a standard 9 to 5, or to not even go down that route, I wouldn't be here, right? I would have a really bad job. I would have not much money. I wouldn't have the things that I have now. And so we can all agree on that, right? And if we have this mindset going into things, and if we know that we are responsible for the actions that we take and obviously the results that we get, then it's going to put us in a lot better position to go on and achieve more and succeed more. And for people that don't come from this amazing background, people that come from a lower class background in a first world country, you can often find yourself surrounded by a lot more of these people who have this idea, especially in the UK, at least I've seen, people have this idea that you shouldn't kind of, be bigger than the area. You kind of have to, stay in your lane a little bit and all that kind of stuff. And oftentimes I find, especially people that I know from when I'm from home, this is the kind of mindset a lot of people have. And it's a really, really dangerous mindset to put yourself in, especially because oftentimes you don't really realize it's happening until you put yourself around people who do think a different way and who do think a little bit like, they congratulate a little bit more for being successful, and they push you on to do more, and they're happy that you want to do more and you are doing more things. Whereas a lot of people that you were surrounded by previously, just kind of a standard response, people didn't really care about that. People didn't really warm to it. People thought that it was maybe weird or just a bit peculiar that you wanted to have more than just a regular life. And what I've realized more and more is that when you do encounter those people that are sort of, giving you their opinions and telling you sort of how to live and sort of making you feel almost bad for, wanting to do a little bit more and being a little bit different almost, these people are almost projecting their beliefs onto you. Now, people oftentimes can have a worldview that, the reason that they're in a situation that they don't really like, maybe they don't really, they're not too satisfied with their life, the reason for that is for some kind of external force, okay? Now, if you see someone if you're in that position and you see someone that's trying to break this external force, that's trying to do something different, that's trying to put themselves out there, whatever it may be, start a business, get fitter, whatever it may be, right? And they get a little bit of success, you see that they're actually progressing in that point, then it looks pretty bad on you, because now your whole worldview, your whole livelihood, everything, your identity, all of this has been created under the idea that this is not possible. And the reason that my life isn't good anymore, or the reason that I'm not getting the things that I want to, is because I have this external factor over my head. And so this person has been able to be in the same situation that I am, come from the same place, same sort of background, and they can do a little bit more. They can do the things that I said was impossible because of this circumstances. Then it must mean that these circumstances, these external factors, don't exist. And so you start to shatter people's worldviews. And this is a really, really strange thing because people are very, very conflicted. A lot of people aren't very self-aware. A lot of people are definitely not telling themselves the truth. And so if you put yourself in an environment where you're being successful and you are improving, it's really going to disturb this other person and these people that you're around, and they're going to really revolt against it, and they're going to project their beliefs onto you. Just recently, my sister has brought a house, and she was telling me a story about some of the friends that she has, and some of the friends are like really happy for her. They're pretty young. They're buying like a decent sized house for their age. They're doing really well. Some of their friends are like really, really happy for them. Like, they buying them gifts and stuff like that for the house. And they have other friends who are sort of doubting them a little bit. They are saying, you want to be careful about this. Like, are you sure you want to buy a house now? All this kind of stuff. And the reason that a lot of that's happening, at least that they suspect, is because their friends have these beliefs that young people can't buy houses, right? The environment and the economy is way too hostile to be able to afford a house. And there's so many political opinions, and there's so many opinions around the economic state of the world at the moment that means that young people cannot buy a house. And so, the reason I can't buy a house is because I'm not actually able to, right? Because of these external factors, not because of anything that I'm doing. And so if you have someone that's basically in the same friendship group as you, someone that you see quite regularly, doing something that you said was impossible, that's really going to mess with your head, right? I remember Tom Aspinall, UFC champion. He's from an area not too far from me. He said the same sort of thing when he talks about, a lot of people that he was friends with before. He was sort of training. He was doing okay. He was like on the periphery being in the UFC. When he started having the success, and he was like super, super talented, and he's really working hard and really doubled down on his training, focusing on his diet, not drinking, not going out, all this kind of stuff. People really didn't like that because now he's differentiated himself. All these people that had this background where the same background as him, and they were maybe disadvantaged because of their area, because of the economy, because of politics, all this kind of stuff, right? Now you have someone who's going out there and achieving their dreams. There's someone who is doing incredible things, right? And now I'm not comparing a business owner or someone that has an SMA that makes 10k a month or whatever to someone who is a UFC world champion. But it's on that same level, is that these people just come out of the woodwork and people just don't want you to actually be successful. They might say that they do, and they might say that, we're friends and, I want the best for you and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, if you do well and if you are successful, there's a lot of people out there who really don't want you to do that, simply because it looks bad on them and it makes them feel terrible. And so if you're failing, then it's okay that they're failing. And if you're successful, but they're still failing, then it looks really bad on them. And that makes them feel pretty terrible. That makes them, think that they're a failure. That makes them think that they haven't actually been successful, and maybe they think there's some kind of success there. And you see this just in everyday life. You see this in so many relationships that I've had, so many people that I've known. When you talk about what you're doing and where you're going and where you're moving to and the things that you're planning, there's people that just kind of quietly try to shut you down on that. And you just really need to be careful about who you surround yourself with. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. Like, I don't have a whole lot of friends. I can count on one hand how many people that I would actually class nowadays as a friend, right? Someone I would say, like, that is my friend, right? There's people who I am acquainted with and I'm familiar with and stuff like that, but rarely would I call someone a friend, right? And what I've started to notice in the last maybe 18 months, 2 years of when I've really been, stepping things up and doing pretty well, is that there's a lot of people out there who are going to harm this goal that you have, whether it's 10k a month, 20k a month, a fitness goal, whatever it is, simply because of all the points that I've just made there. And so now a lot of the people that I would class as friends also have this same belief as me. They want to do better. They have a goal in mind. I could, all the friends that I could think about one thing that they're pushing towards, right? A goal that they have. And so if they're in that position and you're actually pushing them and they're pushing you, then it's a really, really amazing relationship, right? It's a really, really great friend. But if you have those friends out there, or there's people that you are hanging around with who don't have the same belief in you, you feel like they almost try to hold you back a little bit because they feel bad because of the things that I've mentioned, and I'm sure there's people out there who, can think of many examples like this, then just let them go. Like, just get rid of those people. Just, stop hanging out with them, say no, all that kind of stuff. Because ultimately, if you let those people hang around you and pull you back on the things that you actually want, eventually, if you're in a different path than they are, eventually you're going to fizzle out anyway. You're not going to speak to them all that much. But in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, if you're still hanging around them and you believe in some way that they've harmed you from getting to that goal and you didn't hit that goal, you didn't do the business, now you're back into a 9 to 5, now you're not making much money, maybe it's those people that harmed you doing that, right? Maybe it's those people that contributed to that in some way. And how many people out there really are that important to your life to stop you from actually going and achieving your goals? Now, I'm not talking about family. This is a point that I probably should make. This is a lot of times we're talking about friendships, right? People who are maybe friends from school, maybe friends from work, whatever it may be. I definitely would not recommend cutting family off for this kind of stuff. I know there's people out there. I know, for example, Alex Hormozy talks about it all the time, that he doesn't go home for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty extreme. I don't know if I would do that. And I don't think he does recommend it, to be honest with you. But yeah, when it comes to family, I wouldn't really recommend stuff like that. However, when it comes to friends and just people you're sort of like, you see here and there, I would be very, very, very intentional about who you spend your time with, because those people can really, really get to you, and those people can definitely hold you back based on all the stuff that I just said there. By the way, if you are looking for new ways to sign clients, click the first link in the description. I'm not going to be spamming your phone with email opt-ins or anything like that. It's literally just a video of me explaining what my company does, how we do this, how we've done this many times before for different clients in different niches, working with different businesses. But yeah, you don't have to click, of course. I don't really care if you do. If you just want to watch these videos, that is completely fine. But yeah, if you like the video, comment if you want me to cover anything specifically, and obviously subscribe if you're new around here. But yeah, thank you for watching this all the way to the end. Cheers.